He walked into the arena unarmed. The aliens never expected him to walk out alive. The massive gates of the Zephyrian Colosseum groaned open, revealing Marcus Chen to an audience of 10,000 alien spectators. Their chittering, clicking, and harmonic resonances created a cacophony that would have driven most species to madness. Marcus simply rolled his shoulders and stepped forward onto the blood-stained sand. High above in the royal viewing box, Emperor Vexthal's 6 eyes gleamed with anticipation. The Zephyrian ruler had conquered 47 star systems, each populated by what they considered warrior races. Yet none had provided entertainment quite like the humans. Most species, when faced with the arena, either cowered in terror or died quickly from shock. Humans, however, possessed something the Zephyrians found both fascinating and disturbing. They seemed to grow more dangerous when cornered. "Tell me again, Warlord Krex." The Emperor's voice resonated through his translator. "What makes this particular human so special?" Krex's mandibles clicked nervously. "Your Magnificence, this one calls himself Marcus. He has survived 7 arena matches, longer than any human before him. Our xenobiologists believe he may represent the peak of human physical capability." The Emperor's laugh was like grinding metal. 7 matches? Impressive. But today he faces the Gorvak Prime. No creature has ever survived an encounter with that beast. Below in the arena, Marcus examined his surroundings with the practiced eye of someone who had cheated death repeatedly. The sand was loose. Good for mobility, but poor for firm footing. The walls were 40 feet high, smooth obsidian that offered no handholds, standard arena configuration. He had learned to read these environments like a survival manual. The crowd's noise shifted to an anticipatory hush as the opposite gate began to rise. What emerged made several spectators in the lower tiers scramble backward despite the protective barriers. The Gorvak Prime stood 12 feet tall, its 6 arms ending in razor-sharp claws that could slice through starship hull plating. Chitinous armor covered its entire body, evolved over millions of years on a death world where everything was predator and prey simultaneously. Its 4 eyes fixed on Marcus with predatory intelligence. Most beings would have fallen to their knees in terror. Marcus cracked his knuckles. "Day 127 in paradise," he muttered to himself, using the dark humor that had kept him sane. "Let's see what you've got, big guy." The Gorvak Prime didn't roar or posture. It simply exploded into motion, crossing half the arena in 3 bounds. Marcus had already moved, not away from the creature, but at an angle that forced it to adjust its trajectory. The beast's claws raked the sand where he had been standing milliseconds before. In the royal box, Emperor Vexthal leaned forward. "Interesting. Most creatures flee directly away from a Gorvak. This human moves like he's hunting rather than being hunted." Marcus had indeed spent months studying every creature they had thrown at him. Humans, he had discovered, possessed something most alien species lacked: the ability to rapidly adapt their tactics. While other species relied on evolutionary advantages or overwhelming force, humans excelled at problem-solving under pressure. The Gorvak Prime spun with surprising grace for such a massive creature, its multiple arms creating a whirlwind of death. Marcus dropped and rolled, sand spraying as claws missed his head by inches. He came up running, circling the beast while staying just outside its reach. "You're fast," Marcus acknowledged, breathing hard but controlled. "But you're broadcasting. Every move 3 seconds before you make it." He had noticed the telltale signs: a slight shift in weight distribution before each lunge, a tensing of specific muscle groups before each swipe. The creature was perfect for its homeworld, where prey was large and slow. But humans had evolved as persistence hunters, capable of reading the minutest behavioral cues in their quarry. The crowd began to murmur as the pattern became clear. The supposedly inferior human was making the apex predator look clumsy. Marcus stayed in motion, never in the same place twice, forcing the Gorvak to constantly adjust and retarget. Then he did something that stunned the entire Colosseum. He stopped running and charged directly at the beast, the Gorvak Prime. Confused by this suicidal behavior, instinctively reared back on its hind legs to bring all 6 arms to bear. It was exactly what Marcus had counted on. He dropped into a baseball slide, passing directly under the creature's center of mass where its arms couldn't reach him. As he slid past, Marcus's hand shot up, finding the one weak spot he had identified during his study of similar creatures, the soft joint where the creature's armor plates met at the base of its throat. His fingers, hardened by months of arena combat, found the nerve cluster that every vertebrate species seemed to possess. The Gorvak Prime's roar cut off mid-bellow as its nervous system short-circuited. The massive creature toppled forward, paralyzed, but alive, exactly as Marcus had intended. The Colosseum fell silent. In the royal box, Emperor Vexthul's 6 eyes all focused on the small human standing over the fallen champion of their arena. Marcus looked up at the royal box and spoke clearly, his voice carrying in the sudden quiet. "I know you can understand me. I figured out your translation matrix. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to let me walk out of here and I'm going to go back to my cell. Tomorrow, you can send something bigger, but understand this. I'm not entertainment anymore. I'm a problem that's getting harder to solve every day." He paused, meeting the Emperor's gaze directly. "And the thing about humans? We're really, really good at solving problems." Emperor Vexthul stared down at the defiant human for a long moment. Then slowly he began to laugh, but it was no longer the confident laughter of a predator. It was the nervous chuckle of someone who had just realized they might have caught a tiger by the tail. Marcus walked toward the exit gate, leaving the paralyzed Gorvak Prime behind him. The crowd parted like a sea of confused whispers and clicking mandibles. As the gate closed behind him, Marcus allowed himself a small smile. Phase 1 was complete. Now came the real challenge, convincing an empire that the cost of keeping humans caged was about to become much higher than the entertainment value they provided. In the royal box, Warlord Krex ventured carefully. "Your Magnificence, should we increase security protocols?" Emperor Vexthul's eyes remained fixed on the arena gate where the human had disappeared. "No, Krex. I think it's time we had a conversation with our human entertainment. Something tells me we may have gravely underestimated what we're dealing with." The Gorvak Prime stirred slightly, feeling returning to its limbs. It would live, but it would never again be the undisputed champion of the arena. That title, it seemed, now belonged to something far more dangerous than any creature they had ever imported, something human.